Top 10 Most Powerful Female Power Rangers. Ranked. Suit up, Rangers. Here at Marvelous Videos, we've compiled a list of our favorite Power Rangers characters, and now we're listing off our top 10 female Rangers. One of the genuinely wonderful aspects about Power Rangers is how well it handled representation, particularly with its regard to its female heroines. While all the other Rangers have many different colors to their personalities, we can all agree that female characters always manage to add a certain pizzazz to any show that they are a part of. Regrettably, there are a list of heroines we absolutely love, but who we won't be able to fit in is unfortunately there are only 10 positions. But with that out of the way, here are a few of the greatest, bravest, and most remarkable women to don a Ranger helmet in the previous 27 years. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you, and let's begin. Kimberly Ann Hart. Kimberly Kim Ann Hart is the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers' first Pink Ninja Ranger and the first Pink Ranger of the modern era. She also temporarily assumed the Blue and Green Ranger forms, as well as the brand new form of the Pink Ranger. Kimberly was among Zordon's 5 original Power Rangers when Rita Repulsa invaded Earth after she escaped from the space dumpster. Of course, no ranking of the finest female Power Rangers will be perfect unless one of the original Rangers is also included. Kim deserves a special mention here because of her remarkably complex nature. Kimberly, a superb gymnast, appears on the surface to be your average stuck-up valley girl, but in her very first Spotlight episode, titled A Different Drum, she proved herself to have a kind of caring side, as she helped train a deaf child on how to dance, and urged her to never give up on her aspirations. This helped to demonstrate that Kim had more to her personality than her banter about her hair, clothes, and shopping, and this inclination to reach out to those in need remained all throughout the show, as she refused to give up on Tommy when he was under the influence of Rita, even after he spent the whole storyline being extremely rude to her. Even when she caught the flu at one point in time, even though her abilities were jeopardized, she fought for her squad and staunchly refused to let anyone down. Kimberly went on to be the Pink Ranger for most of the duration of the Mighty Morphin, only quitting in Season 3 to pursue her ambition of one day participating in the Pan-Global Olympics. Kimberly had truly established a benchmark for the Power Rangers' strong female characters, mixing a fierce attitude with feminine grace and acting as an idol to women and many young adolescents in the 1990s. Kira Ford. Kira from Dino Thunder is one of our forever favorite female Power Rangers. Kira was an everyday, run-of-the-mill, typical high schooler with ambitions of becoming a musician when she was put into detention and hand-picked by seasoned Power Ranger Tommy Oliver to be the Yellow Dino Ranger. She then proceeded to help the squad combat the wicked Mesogog, using her Terrazord along with her Black Canary-esque Terra Scream abilities, all while miraculously finding the time to play at the group's preferred hangout location, Haley's Cyberspace Cafe. She shares quite a few similarities with Kimberly, such as her Zord theme and even having a loving involvement with the 6th Ranger, who began out as a villain. But she also has many characteristics that help her stand apart. Kira's reputation as a rocker makes her put up the attitude of a rough badass who doesn't care about anything. Yet her songs, all of which are wonderfully delivered by Emma Lahana, convey her inner sensitivity and passion. While Kira is fiery and opinionated, she has the same worries and concerns that everyone her age does, which makes her relatability all the more believable. Her accomplishments as a Ranger enabled her to mature as a woman, as she discovered herself making new friends with the athletic Connor and the nerdy Ethan, with the shy, reclusive kid Trent also joining in as time progressed. She also had to struggle with heartbreak when she found out that Trent, one of the people with whom she had built an early attachment with, was actually the villainous White Dino Ranger who was attempting to destroy them. Throughout it all, Kira demonstrated herself to be a respectable Yellow Ranger, even managing to make a comeback in one of the better parts of the Operation Overdrive's Once a Ranger. Jen Scotts. Jen was the very first, and so far the only Pink Ranger to perform as the leader of her team, but that's only the beginning of her strength as a heroine. Jen's blissful life was disrupted when her lover Alex, who was also a Red Time Force Ranger, was allegedly slain by the mutant criminal leader Ranzik while she was working as an officer for the eponymous Time Force in the year 3000. To avenge her beloved fiancé and bring justice to his villainous killer, Jen and a crew of the rest of the Time Force agents hijacked a time-traveling starship and pursued the antagonist to the year 2001, where they proceeded to confront him and his henchmen as the Time Force Rangers. Jin was icy and very methodical initially, and also seemed to focus exclusively on her job, and got into several disagreements with the team's newest addition, Wes, who was also Alex's genetic ancestor. Despite the fact that Jin couldn't tolerate him at first, Wes's good guy charm gradually won her over, and she ultimately found herself falling head over heels in love with him in the same way she had with Alex. Jin discovered she liked Wes even after Alex proved himself to be alive and healthy, and she also found out her former lover was a bit of a prick. Jin was eventually successful in bringing Ranzig back to times of the future, but she had to do all of this while she was apart from Wes, making for a melancholy finale. This was only until the following year's storyline with Wild Force, in which she traveled back in time to track down a pair of mutant orc hybrids, that too with a giant laser gun. Apart from her romantic development, Jin never really wavered in her commitment to righteousness, and her character growth is another highlight of one of the show's strongest seasons. Jin is and will always be one of the most admirable Power Rangers in the show's history.
I've got a morph. Saber-tooth tiger!
Trini Kwan. Trini Kwan was the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers' first Yellow Ranger. She is the 16-year-old daughter of a Taiwanese physician and a Korean lady who has spent the last 15 years living on 8 military posts, owing to her father's employment. She also inherits Chinese and Japanese heritage. As a resident of Angel Grove and a pupil at Angel Grove High School, she was chosen as the Yellow Ranger by Zordon and his robot helper Alfalfa. Trini's gentle and loving disposition was drawn to the thought of protecting people and saving lives from the evil villain Rita Repulsa. No one would imagine Trini, a young girl with a quiet and relaxed demeanor, was afraid of anything. But there was one thing Trini was terribly scared of. She had a phobia of heights. When she spotted fellow Ranger Billy in difficulty, she overcame her fear and went out of her way to save him. Trini was also subjected to a spell that caused her to lose her confidence for a period of time. Fortunately, she would later recall her past battles and overcome this enchantment. Trini faced Rita in several bouts and vanquished her over and over and over again. The environment was one of Trini's favorite causes. She was always leading initiatives to preserve the environment. Trini not only cleaned up parks, but she also sowed seeds for future trees. Trini also volunteered in the Big Sister Initiative, which was something she did for her younger cousin. Trini adores animals and works hard to find homes for stray animals. Trini lived life to the fullest and made time for enjoyment. Trini adored picnics, carnivals, musicals, costume balls, talent competitions, dancing, and going to the beach. Trini was a massive help in the organization and smooth sailing of any high school musical or play. Trini's scientific intelligence and kind passive nature helped her secure a well-deserved spot on this list.
Go! Collect!
Kendrix Morgan. Kendrix Morgan is the Galaxy Ranger's very first Galaxy Pink Ranger. Kendrix is also the very first Power Ranger to be killed in her line of duty. Every Ranger sets their life at stake when they put on their helmets, but Kendrix was the very first to make the ultimate sacrifice to preserve the cosmos. Before being a Ranger, she worked as a scientist aboard the space-based Terra Venture, which had been looking for a new planet for humankind to call home. At this point, she pulled the pink quasar saber out of its stone on the woodland realm of Miranoi, transforming herself into the Pink Galaxy Ranger. Kendrix was a contrasting type of pink as compared to the other ones who came before her, relying on her scientific expertise and sharp mind to aid her squad in their battle against the forces of the villainous Scorpius. Despite not being a fighter, she was a kind-hearted and unselfish person who would give her best in the upcoming battles. This would ultimately come to a culmination in the two-part transverse with In Space, in which Trakina resurrected the lethal and dangerous Psycho Rangers. Psycho Pink would learn about the supremely powerful Savage Sword and use Cassie's Astromorpher to activate the Wicked Sword in order to assume control of the cosmos, which was one of the best maneuvers we'd ever witnessed a Power Ranger do. With Cassie's life in danger, Kendrix didn't hesitate to destroy the sword at the risk of her own life, telling her bereaved friends that she would always be there for them if they needed her. The underlying reason for Kendrix's bravery was that her actor, Valerie Vernon, was just about to undergo her own struggle with leukemia, which she luckily won. Kendrix was resurrected at the end of the show and joined the other Galaxy Rangers in the crossover special with Lightspeed Rescue the following year. Be it on screen or off screen, she is one of the world's strongest heroes. Tori Hanson. Tori Hanson is one of the Ninja Rangers and is the Blue Wind Ranger, while also being the show's first female Blue Power Ranger. Tori is the Ninja Ranger's most reasonable and pragmatic member, as well as a tomboy. She is easily persuaded by her colleagues and devoted to her pals. Yet, she stands up for Cam when the other Rangers ridicule and pick at him, and has a natural ability to resolve confrontations with words rather than blows. Tori has a remarkable affinity for water, and spends her free time surfing and learning water-based martial tactics at the Wind Ninja Academy. She also develops a crush on Navy Thunder Ranger Blake Bradley, which, while obviously mutual, was never pursued, most likely due to the fact that the show's target audience was very young. Tori's unique ninja expertise has given her abilities that are separate from her ranger abilities. Tori, as her fellow ninjas, has incredible superhuman speed and is able to advance quicker than the human eye can see. This is also known as Ninja Streak. She can also jump higher than the typical person, avoid regular people's notice, and channel her energy to withstand psychological attacks and deception. Her training, which is centered around her affinity for water, enables her to travel through water as though it were flat land, produce high-speed spurts of water as an effective weapon, and control and manipulate water for a variety of effects, such as object creation. Tori, the Blue Ranger, takes full advantage of water to defeat evil, and controls the Dolphin Zord. Tori's Blue Wind Ranger helmet, as well as the helmets of numerous other Rangers, can be seen in Jason Lee Scott's memory and vision of the fight on the moon of Shattered Grid. Her wide range of powers, as well as her impressive achievements, make her a thunderous force that is to be reckoned with. She is the perfect addition to this list. Katherine Hillard. Katherine "Kat" Hillard, also known as Katherine Hillard Oliver, is the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers' second Pink Ranger, and also the second Pink Ninja Ranger, as well as Zeo Ranger 1, Pink of the Zeo Rangers, and the very first Pink Turbo Ranger of the Turbo Rangers. She is Tommy's wife, as well as JJ's mother. She was the main villain in the two-parter A Ranger Catastrophe before becoming a Power Ranger, and then the central enemy until she was liberated from Rita's influence during the three-part program, A Different Shade of Pink. Katherine, or Kat as her friends call her, played various parts in the Power Rangers history. She took over as the Pink Mighty Morphin Power Ranger and replaced Kimberly Ann Hart. Kat seemed to have a natural, compassionate personality and was brought up in Australia, where she was always looking for new ways to aid her community. She sometimes used trained sniffer dogs as well. She was a skilled diver who even participated in the Pan American Games, where she was involved in a minor accident. The accident caused no bodily harm, but Kat was psychologically harmed and did not dive again for several years. Helping the homeless was one of Kat's favorite pastimes. She was excellent at arranging volunteers to complete these projects and get work done. Kat, like her buddy Aisha, was fond of animals. She had a lot of fun caring for a chimpanzee called Kelly. Kat coupled her concern for Kelly with her efforts to understand sign language. During the Zeo period, Kat also trained a dog named Smokey for the fire service and created a desert terrarium with Tommy. Kat fought a variety of adversaries during her tenure as a ranger. It started with Lord Zed and Rita Repulsa. Kat is highly versatile and talented with a variety of things, while also being extremely kind-hearted and a quick learner. She is widely loved among the fans of the series. Karone. Karone's storyline is one of the finest in the program, and it serves as the link that joins space with the season that follows, which is Lost Galaxy. Karone used to love playing outside their house on the planet KO-35 with her eldest brother Andros when she was a young child, until one awful day when she was kidnapped by the wicked Darkonda to be the next Queen of Evil. She was raised to be a villain, and rose to prominence as Astramina during the last months of the struggle between Zordon's Rangers and the United Alliance of Evil. She was then reconnected with Andros, who also just so happened to be the Red Space Ranger, and hence the commander of her sworn foes. Karone fought the Rangers viciously, without remembering who she was, finally taking Dark Spectre's position as the leader of all that was bad, in the last fight to decide the fate of the cosmos. Fortunately, Zordon's energy pulse was able to reverse the brainwashing done on Karone, enabling her to continue her life alongside her brother. The narrative didn't end there, as the Lost Galaxy Rangers discovered that they had no Pink Ranger a year later. Karone obtained the Pink Quasar Sword, becoming the Pink Galaxy Ranger, in order to atone for her previous transgressions as Astramina. During this period, she was confronted with a variety of monsters from her past, including a warrior she had previously locked in a cave. We finally were able to see much more of her genuine nature, which was that of a kind girl with a snarky streak who remained a faithful partner in the quest to defend Terra Venture. She would return in the legendary battle, going full circle in her quest to preserve Earth from the type of large-scale evil conquest she previously commanded. In one of the few aspects the episode got right.
What's going on here?
Lauren Shiba. In Power Rangers Super Samurai, Lauren Shiba plays Jaden Shiba's elder sister. She is the Shiba clan's rightful 18th head. As a result, she assumed the position of Samurai Ranger Fire and the Red Samurai Ranger, and led the crew against the Nylok, being the only one capable of sealing Master Xandred away. Throughout her coaching with the Light Sword, she demonstrated exceptional talent by deflecting all of its blows with her spin sword. Lauren was not depicted as having participated in the climactic fight among the legendary Rangers along with the Armada. Given the fact that her Sentai counterpart participated in the legendary war, it's highly plausible that she did as well. Lauren is the very first female Power Ranger to take a male Ranger's post. Lauren constantly springs to our minds when we're talking about Rangers who receive the raw end of the deal. Lauren only had 5 episodes to win over the fans as the first virtuous female Red Ranger, aside from Charlie from the SPDA squad, who doesn't count as she was, as we all know, evil, but Lauren managed to make it work. Lauren, the rightful successor to the Shiba family, was stashed away at an early age to educate herself alone and using her father's sealing symbol strength to permanently lock the wicked Nyloks away, while her younger brother Jaden was posing as a fake leader in her place. And there was not any need to conceal any of this from the rest of the Rangers. But Lauren came at the conclusion of Super Samurai and demonstrated herself to be an exemplary leader despite the fact that most of her squad either complained about just how much they missed Jaden or cut her down passive-aggressively. Lauren, nonetheless, was very well played by Kimberly Crossman, actively participating in a couple of fantastic battle sequences, and had a lovely narrative about wanting to continue on her father's history, making us think that she deserved to be the leader for the entire season. At the very least, Shattered Grid provided her with more responsibilities. Shelby Watkins. Shelby Watkins is indeed the Dino Charge Ranger's Dino Charge Pink Ranger. She is also known as Pink Ranger and Triceratops Power Ranger Pink in roll calls. Shelby is the child of Watkins Ice Cream's owner and proprietors, a business family. Mr. Watkins, her father, expects her to lead the family company when he retires. Shelby began working in the Dino Bite Cafe at the Amber Beach Dinosaur Museum the year before the events that transpired in Dino Charge. She desired more than anything else to advance in her position at the museum and participate in the fossil digs rather than serve in the cafe. Shelby is a rough and tumble 18-year-old tomboy teenage girl who enjoys getting her hands dirty. She is awkward and extremely uninterested in anything other than dinos or becoming a ranger. She considers business to be uninteresting to study and learn, as seen by her relationship with her family and their ice cream company. Shelby made Power Ranger history by being the very first African-American Pink Ranger, and she went on to be one of the most incredible Pinks we've seen in a long time. Shelby, who was employed as a server at the Amber Beach Dinosaur Museum at the time the Pink Energon was discovered, took a delightfully proactive stance to attempt to gain a position as a dinosaur researcher, to the extent that the first episode of the season is as much hers as it is Tyler's. Once she was recruited as the Pink Dino Charge Ranger, she got more than she bargained for, but she still gave it her best, and her dinosaur expertise proved helpful. Shelby was incredibly brilliant and tenacious with a snarky streak thrown in for good measure, and she held her own on the squad admirably, even making time to assist Tyler in investigating the mystery of his lost father. She also had the opportunity to design a Zord once. Not many Rangers can make that claim. When a franchise has been in existence for more than 26 years, it might be tough to pick a favorite, but it can also be a lot of fun and fodder for heated arguments. Power Rangers is indeed a legacy, entering a very select list of series that lasted for such a significant period of time. During that period, the program has its ups and downs. Anyone who has ever seen Power Rangers has a favorite color and a favorite Power Ranger. Friends still argue over who's stronger between the Yellow Ranger or the Power Ranger more than 20 years after Mighty Morphin Power Ranger. There's no doubt that the Power Ranger seasons left an unforgettable imprint on the imaginations of children, and possibly even adults, all around the world. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone.